vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady when she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, member of the MBK family. I apologize. I'm having some major technical issues on this side. But I think we're up and running. I was tempted to cancel the show, but I like rocking with y'all. I like rocking with my Dope Soul family. So we're here, and hopefully there's no buffering, and hopefully I don't fall out. Not literally, but that the feed doesn't fall out. All right. So tonight we're talking all things RJ Barrett. You know, Randle has been playing well. The Knicks have won 5 in a row. It's a lot of focus on how Randle is playing. But truth be told, RJ has been playing better as well over this 5-game win streak, including his defense, if you believe in defensive, individual defensive rating. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about if RJ Brunson, Randle continue to play the way they are and maybe even get better, can you have a championship contending core with 3 B-level players, right? None of them are stars. Like, so I'm not crazy when I put that out there. I don't think any of them are stars. They're B-level players, you know. Some would even say C-level players. But if they're playing at the level they're playing now, they're probably B-level players if they can keep it up. And is that good enough to build around? So we're going to talk about that. Let me bring in the panel. Jerrell, welcome back, Tsunami. And shout out to the chat. I appreciate y'all rocking with me and just being patient. I'm driving back into New York, weather permitting, on Saturday. How y'all doing? Funny. That is funny. Yeah.
I'm good, man. Let Tsunami go first, man. Like she has been in here since like Halloween. It seems like it's been a long time, yo. Like
you know why? Because we talking RJ Barrett now. All of a sudden, she can make a show.
He's good again. All of a sudden, she back.
The irony, though. Well, thanks for welcoming me back. Been sick for a little while here. I'm getting treatment and all that good stuff. So it's good to be back on the show. I missed you guys.
Missed you too.
A ton. It felt weird. I missed quite a few Knicks games, but I've been able to catch up the last week or so. But good to be back. That's all I got.
So salute to the chat, man. Like, thank you for staying here. Even if people dropped off, I'm pretty sure they came right back as soon as they notifications popped up that we started. So salute to everybody in the chat. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. So let's talk about, let's just get right into it. We're gonna talk about RJ Barrett first. Salute to the chat: Kerry Cox, Jeffrey Clafter, Anthony Grant, JJ, David L, Almighty Finesse. I appreciate you. David G, appreciate you. Cool Cal G, appreciate you as well. Ashley Inc, West Coast, appreciate you. I think I got everybody. J Boogie, I'm having technical. I was supposed to play J Boogie's song. I could barely log on myself. You know? So I wasn't able to load it up into StreamYard. If I get a chance through the flow of the show to try to do it, I will. But I'm really struggling on this end, you know, as far as staying up, not in terms of, you know, my feelings, but staying connected. Anyway, let's talk about RJ Barrett. On the season, he's averaging 19 points a game, only shooting 40% from the field, only 30% from 3. This is on the season. However, during this 5-game win streak, he's averaging 21 points, 7.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, shooting 42.7% from the field. Not great, but a little above average for him. And from the three-point line, he's shooting 37.9%, which is above league average. I think league average right now is 35%, unless something has changed in the last day or so. And he's shooting 80% from the line, right? His offensive rating, which is the number of points he scores per 100 possessions, is 105.4. But his defensive rating, right? How many points he's not giving up, right? I hope I got that right. Per 100 possessions is 99.3. So, we talk about the shortening of the rotation and how we put in Grimes in and McBride in and how that's helping us. And it is, right? Our perimeter defense is better. Our point of attack defense is better. But Julius Randle and RJ Barrett's defensive rating is about 99.3, 99.4. Those guys are getting after it as well, right? So talk to me about what you've seen from RJ Barrett thus far. And do you think he's turned the corner for good for this season?
I guess maybe I'll go first on this.
That's why I'm
Yes,
chilling.
Mama
That's
Bear.
why I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm chilling.
I did miss a couple of games though, so I will be honest. But I did see the last week or so, maybe a little bit more than that. Once I was able to see things better in the hospital. Neither here nor there. RJ earlier on in the season, like, how can I put? One of the problems that he was having was his defense was just his effort. His effort was just trash for a little while there. Don't know what was going on with him mentally. We do know he was sick for a little bit and all that. But what I've seen in the last 4 or 5 games is his decision making has improved. Like, that was one of the problems there. The effort on the defensive end has been better, even though there were some real questionable moments there in the Bulls game. I do attribute a lot of that to referees and all that stuff, because all those calls were like super late and delayed every time that DeRozan got one, but that's neither here nor there. But the decision making's been better. His 3-point shooting was eventually going to have to turn around. He couldn't shoot 27% forever. So we all knew that wasn't going to continue. But I think he's just also overall getting more comfortable playing off of Brunson too. And with Randle drawing even more attention, playing this well, it's going to free up RJ Barrett for more open looks. He just needs to hit them, and now he's finally hitting those shots. As far as whether he's turned the corner for good, January, I think he will, because that's when he normally does.
Wow.
I just think,
So we got a couple more weeks.
I think he has another level he can get to. I will put it like that.
What does that look like?
Another level. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, another level means he was even like RJ at his best was probably the end of last season. So you think he's gonna even look better than that?
I won't say like superb or anything. I'm just saying he's going to continue to hit these free throws. Now, I mean, his free throw percentage is great right now, as well as the 3-pointers. I think he'll maintain this. It depends on. To me, it's going to depend on each night too, because it seems like some nights is going to be a Randle night. Some nights is going to be a Brunson night. Some nights are going to be RJ's nights. We just haven't seen a lot of RJ nights. I think we're going to see more of those as the team continues to grow and get better. And I do think the advent of having Grimes as well as Deuce when he comes in off the bench and things like that does make it easier for him to focus on offense. And so I think that's going to help him too, as it's already been happening. I do not think he's a bum. Sorry, y'all.
Who said? Salute Keith Turner, yo. He said he a bum. Come on,
my boy
Keith.
had
He not
a
a bum.
3-week awful stretch. God forbid somebody has a shooting slope.
Yeah, he's not a bum.
Keith Turner said he can't stomach this one tonight. And let me tell you, I was on here at 9:00 by myself for like 15 minutes. I said, nobody want to talk about RJ Barrett. Nobody want to talk. Then Tsunami said she's going to be late. I said, okay, all right.
Yep. For me, I don't really have that much on RJ. It's almost like the writing's on the wall. He's just inconsistent. Like, it's kind of hard to get a grasp on his game when he's so inconsistent, especially on defense. Like defense was wearing me, but defense from Randle was even worse. So, or they was kind of equally bad for like weeks at a time. So, they both got better now. Obviously, the rotation probably has a lot to do with that because of Grimes and Deuce. As long as they're on the floor with them, their defensive rating probably will be as good going forward. But yeah, RJ is just inconsistent. So, do I think he turned the corner since he's inconsistent? No, I don't think he's turned the corner. Like that remains to be seen. Like he turned the corner, like Tsunami said, around New Year's last year. That hasn't gone yet. Like he's starting to get. Maybe it's just he's starting to get better sooner. So you said like he might not be good until New Year's. But maybe he did turn the corner. So, but I don't know. Like that's a really tough question for me because he's so inconsistent. I don't like inconsistency, especially when it comes to basketball players. It's weird. Like if you can, to me, if you can shoot shots, you should always be able to make shots. So streaky shooters just mean you can't shoot to me. So, but yeah, RJ, as long as he remains to be working hard and effort on defense is what I'm really looking at for him now. Like the offense is just always going to be inconsistent for him. The defense should not be inconsistent. That should be every night. Like that should be non-negotiable for all of them, not just RJ.
Right. Now with RJ, Tsunami brings up something interesting because I wasn't really thinking it was effort. I thought he was trying and he was just having a hard time like moving his feet laterally and staying in front of people. He's doing a better job now. But you're saying that you saw times or possessions or games where you just felt the effort wasn't there on the defensive end.
From both of them, especially like RJ and Julius Randle. Like we talked about when we was losing bad, like the Brooklyn game, the game before that with OKC, like their help defense, maybe not like the one-on-one defense.
Yeah.
When it comes to RJ, the one-on-one defense is bad too, but Julius Randle is a better one-on-one defender. His help defense was terrible.
Awful.
So that's gotten better. Like that's the type of defense that I'm talking about, like the help defense. It's gotten better from both of them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Sherwin is saying, I am Jerrell. Prove what you are saying about Randle defense. Source, please. The source is your eyes, Jerrell.
Yeah,
I mean, not Jerrell.
Right.
Sherwin. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if I saved it, but somebody on Twitter actually put together about I don't know how many frames. It was extensive frames of him defensively. And so what I've done when people talk about Obi's defense getting better or worse, or Randle's defense getting better or worse, what I've done is I've watched a game and just focused on them.
Right.
And just followed them through on the defensive end. And I did that this season because, you're watching the game as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're not keying on individual players or things like that. And I started keying in on Randle and just following him.
Mm-hmm.
And his off-ball defense is much better now. Was just straight trash. Straight trash. There's no way around it. Sometimes he was twirling around like he didn't even know where his man was. What it was really, really bad. And to the point where I thought that he just doesn't know where he's supposed to be defensively. Like if he has one guy in front of him that he knows I have to check this guy, he does okay moving his feet. But in terms of where he's supposed to be on rotations, hitting his spot, he doesn't know until the Utah game. Now the Utah game,
it was like a switch that flipped. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's hitting all his rotations. He's closing out. He knows where he's supposed to be. I was like, so this is not about not knowing where you're supposed to be. This is not about defensive IQ. This is about willingness and effort, consistent effort on the defensive end. And I'm a Randle supporter. I've been a Randle supporter, but I'm going to be a straight shooter in terms of what I see. So, Sherwin, what I would say is probably not now, but go back before this 5-game winning streak, so before Cleveland, and just watch Randle on the defensive end. And Freezy, who's also a big Randle fan, he doesn't argue that point. What he says is that it just takes a lot to do both, to put out so much energy on the offensive end and also play really good defense. But anyway, we did Randle last week. Yes, JJ, I starred your question. But Sharon, there's different aspects of defense. There's on-ball defense, there's off-ball defense, there's rebounding. Off the ball, up until these past few games, Randle has not been a very good off-ball defender. He's been an awful off-ball defender. You can't argue that. You just can't argue that if you watch the game. But anyway, we're talking about RJ Barrett. For me, in terms of what I'm thinking about him for the season, and then I'll talk about his recent play.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was a bit disappointed, given how he played in the preseason and given how I reached for him in 2 of my fantasy leagues. I was a little disappointed up until a few weeks ago. And there's the part of you want to see him add to his game. Like he said, he was practicing creating his own shot, off the dribble. That's one thing. But another thing is just getting better at what you're already doing. Even if you don't add, just get better at what you're already doing. And as far as the free throws is concerned, we see that, right? We definitely see it increase. But finishing at the rim, slightly better. Mm-hmm. Shooting the 3-point shot, catch and shoot, even off the dribble, worse. But I always thought it was a slump. I never thought that he's not going to ever recover from this, because I think I've seen enough of RJ Barrett to know what his baseline is, and how he was performing was less than his baseline, right? So I knew he would get back to his baseline. Now, whether or not he takes the next step, that's another question. But what I'm thinking also is being consistent is another step. Like, even if you don't add another skill set to your game, being consistent that we can count on you from game to game to do 2 or 3 things, whatever those 3 things are, that's the next step, right? Because it's just hard to, when you're young, part of your development is showing up every day, and so that we know what we can get from you every day. And it takes time for that to happen. And I think that's kind of where we are with RJ Barrett. He's coming around, nothing extra, just doing what he usually does a bit better, right? So I think he has turned the corner. It's if I had to bet and put money on it, I would say that he's turned the corner.
Money on it?
If I had to put money on it, I would say that RJ Barrett is back. Taking the next step?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But back to his baseline. I think he's back to his baseline, and I think he's going to maintain.
Okay.
I think he's going to maintain. I mean, it was really bad.
That's really what it was. It was just so
really
bad.
Really
that he
bad.
lost so
really
much of
bad.
the fan base.
It was really bad on both ends of the court.
He looked like a rookie.
It was bad.
And I remember defending him early on, I'm like, he can't possibly get worse than this. And then it just continued, and it got really bad, missing wide open and continuous layups over and over and over, and still a field goal percentage. And it looked like, and he had rebounded before, so it was very interesting how this season has panned out. I would love to be a fly in the locker room.
We everybody keeps talking about, including myself, we focus on RJ's offense so much.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was his defense that was even worse.
That's true.
RJ was out there
saying
like
a lot.
Cone. Like, he was bad on defense.
They were seeking him out, which is bad. When
they were targeting him.
They're targeting him.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, I haven't seen nobody target RJ like that. He was I'm not saying he was an all-world defender, but he was at least I wouldn't say good either. He was at least an average defender on the court.
Right.
At his worst.
Right.
When he came into the league, he was an average defender. Like he got bad, but he's
Right.
playing better now.
He's playing better now. But he's always been a willing defender.
Right.
Even now, when he wasn't defending well, he want to take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm like, relax,
Right.
relax.
Right.
You are not playing that.
I saw him try to check Trey one time. I was like, what are you doing? Please get off of him, yo. Like, I'm trying to win this game. Like, please get off him.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Do you think okay, so we're talking about him this season. We've seen him, this is his 4th year. Or it's not fully over, but this is his 4th year. From what you've seen this year, has it changed what you think his trajectory or what you think he will ultimately be? Obviously, none of us know with certainty, right? None of us know with certainty. But in terms of projecting, has your projections about what you think he will be changed any? Because we got a 3.25 year sample size at this point.
Right. I think Tsunami should definitely go first on this one. Because if anybody would change their mind, it would be her. But I don't think she did. But go ahead. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. What are we, 14-11 right now? Or what's our record?
15-13.
15-13.
So 28 games in. This is a very difficult question for me. My faith has been shaken because he looked so horrific for that long. And I will admit that.
Sorry about
I don't know what that was. I guess that was to show just how surprised you guys were by my statement. You're like, let me start this commercial real quick. No, but my faith has been shaken a bit about him. I can't say that I necessarily still see superstar, but I don't think I really said superstar. I just thought he could be a potential all-star and a recurring all-star at his best in his career. I still think he can hit an all-star, maybe 2 in his career. I don't think he's going to necessarily be the guy now. I want to believe, but it's tough to see it right now. But I think he can be a very, very key cog on this team.
Absolutely.
And I still wouldn't necessarily want to trade him. It would depend on who for. I do not see him as a role player. I still think can be like one of the big 3. I just don't know if the other 2 are Brunson and Randle necessarily. If we're trying to be a championship contender, if that's fair.
Well,
RJ got to step up a little bit more to do that, but I think he can. I just don't think he's I don't think he's necessarily like a 4th or a 5th guy. I don't see that.
But this is what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong. He can be an important piece of a cog, but not with Randle and Brunson, because you see him being ultimately a better piece than those 2. Is that what you were trying to say? Oh, no. Okay.
I'm acknowledging that Randle and Brunson are better.
Okay. So I heard it. I heard it wrong. Let me. Freezy.
What's up, Unc?
Uncle Freezy, what's good, bro?
What's up, bro?
I hope my internet connection can stay connected with this guy that's coming in here.
Yeah.
I know, right?
To call him a ham sandwich.
Talk
about your boy RJ.
Yeah, I know how it is.
But let me ask, before I get to Freezy, let me answer JJ's question. Steph, I'm curious, when you say you didn't think RJ was going to be a star, did you mean from when he was drafted or a couple of years into his career? Probably his second year. And I know people will say that's kind of early, but I just didn't get that feel from him. And I just, even with young star players, you see flashes. Definitely by now, you see flashes of stardom. And I just never saw that from RJ Barrett. I shouldn't say that. They were like when he, the game against Miami when he scored 46 points, the game against the Lakers when, basically I think it was a 6 to 8 minute run by himself, to get us back to the game, and I think we still lost. I just never felt that he would be a star, but I always thought he would be a really good player. 17 to 19 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, maybe shoot 42. I don't think he'll ever be a high percentage shooter, but 42, 43% from the field, 80% from the line, an average 3-point shooter, 35%. He can do that. And one of the things I always thought was that he would be a two-way player. So I was saying with those numbers I just mentioned and his defense, that's a really good NBA player.
Right.
Defense is giving me a little pause, at least early, early in the season, though it's getting better now. But Breezy, go ahead, Jerrell, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say for me, I don't know, watching RJ since he's been in high school, I just never thought he was going to be great, but I thought he was always going to be good, though. I still think he's going to be good. And like you said, I think he's going to be a two-way player. That's why the defense shocked me so much in the beginning of the season, because RJ's a better defender than that. Yeah. Just by the way just his mental makeup, it forces him to be a better defender than what he showed in the beginning of the season. But I always thought he was going to be good, not great. Like, I just thought he was going to be a real solid NBA player, two-way player. And I was not mad when we drafted him, though. Even though I didn't think he was going to be great, I wasn't upset that we drafted him at 3. Like, I wanted him at 3.
Okay. All right. So, Freezy, we're asking your assessment of RJ Barrett thus far. And do you think he's turned the corner this season?
Oh, I thought I heard somebody say Randle. Mm-mm. You know, when somebody say Randle, I disappear. I was like, how did I even get here? Somebody must have said Randle 3 times. I didn't even know how I got here.
Is that what it takes?
That was Sherwin saying that Randle asking Jerrell for receipts on the fact that Randle doesn't play good defense. And I said, look, even Freezy will acknowledge that his off-ball defense ain't great, but Freezy will say it's because he's putting out a lot of energy on the offensive end.
Yeah, that's what. I was minding my business, trying to make my way here, and somebody must have said Randle 3 times, and I got here super fast. So, but so my thing about RJ. All right. So y'all know I feel like RJ Barrett is the golden child and the future of New York Knicks basketball. Right. But I feel like RJ is that guy. Not saying that I agree with that, but I think he's being positioned that way by the New York Knicks organization. Right. Now, stardom and your perception around the league is not always determined by what you do in the regular season, like your regular season numbers and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I liken it to how bad the Milwaukee Bucks were before Giannis's 4th season. Right? The Bucks were terrible.
True.
Right? And one could say the New York Knicks were worse when RJ got here, because the year that RJ was drafted, our best player may have been Emmanuel Mudiay the year before. Now that's something to be said when, the future of the team at the moment. Think about the pick and roll offense between Emmanuel Mudiay and Noah Vonleh. That doesn't necessarily inspire you as a fan base. Right? I mean, if we're looking at what RJ is, what RJ projects to be, like his prospectus down the road may not be as glittery as, say, a Paolo, right? You know what I'm saying? Or a Cade, or even a Victor W. Because those teams have been picking in the lottery for years. Well, the Knicks hadn't been picking in the lottery for years when RJ was selected, and the Knicks hadn't, are not on the cutting edge of bringing in the superstar to take, it's not like RJ was going to have any help when he got here. Right. RJ's best player is at the time a lottery bust in Julius Randle. I'm saying at the time, we didn't know what Julius Randle was going to be after he got here. But at the time that we signed Julius Randle and Bobby Portis, who also looked like a lottery bust, and Taj Gibson, who was an old man, and Marcus Morris, who was a journeyman, and Ivan Rabb. People forget about Ivan Rabb. We signed Ivan Rabb to a two-way deal, thinking that if all he needed was some time in the G League, and he may have been the future of the power forward position. Ivan Rabb, the kid out of Cal, he was a one and done. He played for Memphis, and he didn't really show anything because Memphis was a playoff team, and their whole thing was we don't have time to develop kids because we have Zach Randolph and Gasol and Allen and James Posey and Mike Conley.
What I'm losing a point in terms of what you're trying to say about RJ Barrett. Are you saying that because he came into the league and he didn't have people around him, that's why he didn't develop the way maybe you thought he was going to develop?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the franchise was abysmal, right, when RJ got here. And you had to build it up from that time, from the time you drafted RJ. He had to navigate through bad coaches, misfit parts, and all of that stuff till today. So he wasn't going to look spectacular when he got here, but the way RJ looks going forward, basically what I'm saying is the franchise needed a savior, and even RJ Barrett being 19 years old, coming from a blue blood, was not going to turn this thing around overnight. And on some nights, he was going to look terrible trying to turn this thing around, right? So what I'm saying is when RJ got here, of course he wasn't going to look like a star in the making because his task was too great. Basically, we asked a 19-year-old kid that already had flaws in his game to be a savior, and then we just couldn't turn this thing around overnight. Right?
I don't even think we asking him to be I don't know if we were asking him to be a savior.
Well, who was the savior?
Nobody.
Well, how were we going to turn it around?
But he was going to be a piece to the puzzle. So I get it. But listen.
Well, who were the other pieces?
To an eventual puzzle is what I'm saying. But
right,
listen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, if RJ was not the piece, then who's the piece?
No, he was a piece. What I'm saying is they didn't draft him to be the savior of the franchise. Or maybe they did, but it's apparent that he's not. So the point I'm trying to make is that most lottery picks are drafted to bad teams.
Right.
Most lottery picks are drafted to bad teams.
Right.
But you can see flashes, Freezy. That's all I'm saying. You can see flashes even on a bad team.
Can you give me an example though?
John Morant, LeBron James.
Right.
You could take anybody in the draft who's a star right now. You saw flashes.
Right. John Morant also had Jaren Jackson, who's a lottery pick.
All right, but even Jaren Jackson, you saw
and Brandon
flashes.
Clark.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to say, Freezy, is
so what other lottery pick was drafted with RJ?
If you can play, and you getting a lot of usage, you should be able to show some flashes. All right, maybe not your first year. It's 3.5 years, 3.25 years in now.
Right.
So I don't even want to hear, okay, fine. If you want to say his first year, he didn't show any flashes because he was on a bad team, even though other lottery picks show flashes on bad teams in their first and second year, fine.
Right.
The question is, right now, has he turned the corner? Because I'm just trying to get you up to speed because we've moved on to his trajectory now. Do you think he's turned the corner for this season? And then the other question is, from what you've seen over these 3.25 years, has that changed what you thought RJ Barrett would be? Or do you still think he'll be that. Whatever you thought.
So my thoughts on RJ Barrett is RJ Barrett is going to be the leader of this team that's going to make a series of playoff runs. Like the Knicks are going to be a playoff team every year with RJ Barrett. But that does not mean that RJ Barrett is going to be the best player.
Of course, I agree with you.
Right. No. And what I'm saying, but my thing to it is look at it at like the Yankees of the 90s. I'm not saying winning championships. I'm saying look at RJ Barrett as being the Bernie Williams of a Yankees team, or a Jorge Posada, who is an integral part, but not the piece.
Correct. And that's what I agree with that. That's what I said. He'll be an integral part.
Right.
You're gonna need guys like, RJ Barrett, those. But this is the thing, and we see it a little bit with Randle too. And I think over the last few games, though, RJ Barrett has kind of gotten away from this. Some guys have a hard time being a glue guy or being that Swiss Army knife, so to speak, because in their mind, they're a star.
Okay.
And so they push the issue. And I seen that with RJ Barrett earlier, like pushing the issue, forcing shots. I haven't seen that as of late. Like he's playing within the flow of the offense. It comes to him. He's making the right play. I see less tunnel vision. So just maybe, he's finding his stride. Yes, maybe he's feeling comfortable and confident enough in himself that he doesn't have to press it. But the point I'm trying to make, from what I've seen the last 5 games, I think he would accept that role you're talking about, Freezy.
So I disagree with you.
10 games into the season, I didn't think he would accept being a Swiss Army knife and the glue guy and all. Nah, in his mind, it was like.
No, I think it was Queen B, and I'm saying this. And I'm saying this respectfully because it's just from what it is it's about our point of view. I think we've seen it differently because just a point of view based reasoning, right? Like I see it differently. Like I see RJ Barrett forcing the issue because he knew he had bad teammates and he couldn't trust them to carry their own weight, let alone be big in moments. Not because they didn't have talent, just because they wasn't ready. But then when you have RJ Barrett watching Jalenbrunson take over games and have the Knicks in games and shoulder the load for long stretches, where RJ Barrett can take trips up and down the floor and just contribute in the fringe areas, I think that's why you see RJ Barrett look different. Because last year you saw RJ Barrett having to trust Alec Burks and others, and they could not come through. But Jalenbrunson now, but when you watch RJ Barrett this year, watch Jalenbrunson carry the load for stretches, and Julius Randle now coming out the gate, scoring, getting the team off to a good lead. Now RJ Barrett can pick his spots where he can carry it, as opposed to feeling like he has to go 1-on-5 against another team every night offensively, because if he doesn't, then the team will be down by 20, 25 points, and there's no coming back from it.
Stop. Come on now. So RJ Barrett is coming into the game saying, oh, I can't trust. Basically, he's coming, in order to think like that, you coming in here saying, this is my team. I can't really trust Brunson. I can't really trust Randle. So I'm going to have to force it, put the team on my back until I see what I got in those guys. Like,
No, that's not what I said.
Oh.
That's way not what I said.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, I used an example. I said the name Alec Burks.
But why are you trusting Alec Burks anyway? So he's what I'm saying is early in this season, Randle, Brunson playing okay, not great, especially Randle. They were playing okay.
Okay.
RJ was not playing well, and he was forcing the issue. Those guys were playing better than him. He was forcing the issue.
Right.
You're saying he was forcing the issue because he couldn't trust them, and they were playing better than him at that point.
No. I'm not saying that this. No, I'm saying in previous years because you said
Okay.
You said 3+ years,
Okay.
right? Remember, you said the point 3+ years.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is, RJ Barrett knew in those 3+ years before this moment, RJ Barrett was surrounded by bad NBA players. Queen Bee, you can't dispute that. You can't say that the
He
Knicks didn't.
was, but he's not the only one who he wasn't the only player drafted to a bad team surrounded by bad people.
Right.
Players. So I'm not using that as an excuse
Okay.
for why RJ Barrett couldn't flash. I'm not saying be a star, but flash.
Right. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah. So, but the difference is this year, like in this moment,
mhm.
where we're even questioning the fact that RJ Barrett has turned the corner, it's because of the emergence of Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle having some semblance of consistency. Before Julius Randle showing some semblance of consistency, and before Jalen Brunson took on the role as the closer, RJ Barrett was forcing stuff. We all acknowledge that because these guys want to win. So now RJ Barrett is settled into a role now is probably that second or third guy, probably the third guy at this point. And now you see him settling into a role where he can play his best basketball.
Now that I agree with.
Right.
And I think part of why he was forcing it was because he thought he was that guy.
He thought he had to be the guy because before Brunson, his teammates were absolutely garbage. We had one of the worst rosters in the NBA. Any team that starts Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock as a backcourt is a bad NBA team that overachieves.
I get that. I get that, Freezy. But the point I'm trying to make is he was forcing it, in my opinion, because he wanted to show that he still got it when he didn't have it. And he was having a hard time adjusting to his role as a number 3. And so he was forcing it. But cool. Cool. But in terms of now, you've seen him for 3 years and 3.25 years.
Right.
In terms of what you thought he was going to be, has that changed after having seen him now? And then we'll get to Stafford, or you feel like he's still on the trajectory to be who you thought he would be?
Again, so who I think he's going to be is a higher level playoff guy on a New York Knicks team that's going to be a top 4 seed in the East every year. Probably in about a year or so, they'll probably be top 4 in the seed in the East every year for, say, a 6, 7, 8 year run. Right? That's what I think RJ Barrett is going to be. Right?
And that's what you thought even before seeing him?
Yeah, you thought that when we drafted him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought he was going to be. Okay. But again, the flashing part is not necessarily fair to RJ, especially when
not
these
flashy.
other lottery. No,
not
flashing.
Okay.
Like show you something.
Right.
It's not really fair to RJ because these other teams, man, they have other talents on their teams that flash also. Like Anthony Simon flashes, but he had at one point he had CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard on his team and Gary Trent. Right?
But I think you can flash when you're on the team by yourself because it's just you. Your usage is super high.
Right.
Anyway, drugs only. The pecking order wasn't established. That's why I'm glad Tibbs got his rotation. Now everybody can play a role. And who was it? Somebody said
there's a lot of good comments in here.
A lot of good comments.
To the chat, man.
Yeah, somebody said Shaw Legacy. I'm trying to find his chat. He said players get drafted to bad teams all the time.
I got it.
And, gifted players get drafted to bad teams and put up monster numbers, all the time.
That's true, but it kind of became Randle's team in like year 2, and they focused the entire offense around him.
Right.
So I think it was kind of it became Randle's team, and they chose him to be the guy. So I don't know what monster numbers he would have put up next to Randle when they were running the entire
not
offense
monster
through him.
numbers, not monster.
I was responding to the comment, not you.
Oh, okay.
I know where you're coming from.
Right.
That was just my opinion on the comment.
Right. And I gotta say, when he went on that 8-0 run and against the Lakers, and then he had that 46 point game against Miami. Those were some flashes. I was like, oh okay, now we might be onto something.
That Lakers game, it was him versus LeBron, and he was actually it was a back and forth between those two in that fourth quarter. If he had just made that last shot, we would have won the game and not had to go to overtime. If I recall correctly, I think he got the last shot.
Yeah,
it was a good game.
That was like 2 years ago.
Staffer, any thoughts on RJ Barrett? Before I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about this next segment. Just you there, Staffer?
Yeah, I'm here. Just patiently waiting. That's all. But good night to the panel. Good night, Queen. Good night to the chat. To tell you the truth, Queen, everybody made very good points. I mean, what is like a mixed bag. Everything that everybody said tonight is RJ Barrett. I mean, it's nothing on the bone for me to say again. It's nothing on the bone for me to say again. Everybody made great points. So I mean, the only thing with his trajectory now, in my opinion, I mean, Tsunami, I don't know about this all-star thing, what you're talking about, but he's going to be a very good player. He's going to be a very, very good player. I got to agree with Freezy. He's going to be one of those pieces where he's going to be in the Eastern Conference 4th seed trying to contend to win a championship.
Right.
I don't see him being an all-star with Brunson and Julius there. RJ Barrett is going to have to pull out a bag of tricks in order for him to get a nod to be an all-star Tsunami. And I'm just being real with you. I know that's your guy. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, his trajectory is where he's at right now as a number 3 option, as a good basketball player. And I don't want to elaborate on RJ no more. I think y'all been talking about RJ for a long time. So, that's it for me and RJ.
But the show is called this. Yeah. No one read the description before the show went live, yo.
Right. All right. Let me see. I pulled up this video by Jay Boogie. This is his Christmas song. I hope I got it loaded in right, and I hope the internet doesn't.
You're taking a risk.
I'm taking a risk.
Let's go.
All right.
The video look good right now.
All right.
Yo,
what up, man?
What up?
It's Hard Will. Back like 2/5, man. It's your boy Hard Will.
What?
You alright, man?
Alright, what's up?
Yo, get up, man. Yo, get up, man. I got some money for you, man. I got this phone.
What
KT
phone?
Wireless.
KT Wireless?
T-Mobile, man. We on here with some bread. Going to the Knicks game, we back like 2/5.
That's all, Will?
Yeah, let's go.
For the love of the game?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I ain't never stop loving you, boy. We back?
We back, baby.
Thank you, man.
Let's go.
All right,
let's
man.
go.
It's a jolly time of the year, right before the new year. Ain't no other squad better on this day than the Knicks. We back. Best time of the year, they say it's Christmas. Little kids can't wait to see it's Christmas. New clothes, new toys, mean it's Christmas. You see the Knicks, we back, we on Christmas. It's so pretty when you can see the snowfall. Their red nose, tell them that it's Rudolph. Chestnuts roasting, the Knicks stay roasting. Tell the whole league we hosting. 12 noon, we back, 12 12 and the 2/5. Biggest tree in the world filled with presents. Little kids, they checking off their wish list. Ho, 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 we celebrating this Christmas. Jingle bell, first game playing in the garden. Tell Santa we got the whole league watching. Right before we celebrate the new year. James Dolan crossing with the reindeers. Parker decks, they filled with no room garage. When it comes to the flow, this here's eggnog. Best believe your boy, yeah, I'm on my job. Celebrate your Christmas with the Knicks squad. The best place in the world, that bag stay shopping. I AD my wrist so you can keep watching. Shopping sprees all over, this is Times Square. Then it's back to the game at Madison Square. Best time of the year, they say it's Christmas. Little kids can't wait to see it's Christmas. New clothes, new toys, mean it's Christmas. You see the Knicks, we back, we on Christmas. It's so pretty when you can see the snowfall. That red nose, tell them that it's Rudolph. Chestnuts roasting, the Knicks stay roasting. Tell the whole league we hosting.
Back on Christmas, J Boogie predicted this. You can't say St. Nicholas without nicking it. The Knicks on Christmas should be ubiquitous. So shout out if you've been with us, sitting through the interim. Feels like we meant to win. Now we got the kids with us. Potential is limitless. Gifts go down the chimney. Try to put the Grinch on me. Pinch me, but I'm not dreaming. It's a new reality. New York is in the top seating. Seasons, greetings, Eastern Conference. Defense, the Gardens rocking. Best fans in the game. We don't do the home away split. Catch me at the Staples, baby. I make the sleigh lift. 8 gifts, pulling up in the Cambridgers. About to lace the garden with a pack of frankincense and myrrh. Can't resist the urge. Knicks set new squad. Time to burn the competition sitting by the U-Law.
Best time of the year, they say it's Christmas. Little kids can't wait to see it's Christmas. New clothes, new toys, mean it's Christmas. You see the Knicks, we back, we on Christmas. It's so pretty when you can see the snowfall. That red nose, tell them that it's Rudolph. Chestnuts roasting, the Knicks stay roasting. Tell the whole league we hosting.
Something wrong with your TV screen. If that orange and blue ain't playing on that red and that green. Favorite players, yeah, but Knicks, they forever the team. Shout out the upstairs, trying to play chess with the team going forward. They're making sure the squad is in order. They know we hated on by all opposing reporters. It's torture. New York, we built for fourth quarters. Show up to the court or prepare for a slaughter. They wanna hate on the Knicks, tell me what that's doing. Get that stuff out of here, shout out to Pat Ewing. 12 noon jump ball, just know we enemies. We trying to bring home the gold back from the 70s. Oh yeah, we back on Christmas, oh no, can it be? Only us Knicks fans know the whole New York energy. If you ain't know what type of tension this is, Knicks Nation, we'll see y'all on Christmas.
Best time of the year, they say it's Christmas. Little kids can't wait to see it's Christmas. New clothes, new toys, mean it's Christmas. You see the Knicks, we back, we on Christmas. It's so pretty when you can see the snowfall. That red nose, tell them that it's Rudolph. Chestnuts roasting, the Knicks stay roasting. Tell the whole league we hosting.
All right. Thank you, J Boogie.
I was fire. That was fire.
Fire.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move into our second section segment. Don't think I'm crazy, right? But when I said can this
Excuse me.
can dag Stafford, that's your way of saying that
No, excuse me.
So
Oh, my heart. Stop.
Phyllis
we
Smoke
getting a
Brethren.
glimpse. I'm not sure how long this is going to continue, right? But we're getting a glimpse of Randle, RJ, and Brunson playing relatively well, and the defense is playing the defense is playing well too, except for the Chicago game. I guess the question I'm asking is, can you have a championship core with 3 B-level players? If Randle continues to play the way he plays, if RJ continues to play the way he plays, if Brunson plays the way he plays, can the Knicks build around those 3? Can the Knicks build a championship contender around those 3? Or do you feel like in the times in which the way the NBA is now, you can't have 2 Bs and a C or 3 Bs and build around that? You have to have at least 1 A.
Who to see? I'm joking. Go ahead.
No,
You know who
I
to
said,
see.
I said 3 Bs. I said 3 Bs.
I'm gonna go first on this one.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. And the reason why I say it's possible, look at the Detroit Pistons back then. They didn't have any stars. Chauncey Billups wasn't a star. Richard Hamilton wasn't a star. Tajon Prince wasn't a star. Ben Wallace wasn't a star. They shared the ball. They came together and they knocked down Kobe Bryant and the big bad Shaquille O'Neal Lakers to win a championship. So I do think it's possible that they could. It's a very slim chance. I'm not saying it could happen,
Right.
but the percentages are very, very small. But it's possible.
And why
I'm
do
gonna
you
leave
think
it
it's
right
small? Why do you think it's small? I'm saying that they're gonna have to build around. So you're still gonna need shooters. You're gonna need your defensive demons. You're gonna need
exactly.
It's
Because
not
if
gonna
you
be
look
just
at it,
those three. Mhm.
because if you look at it, right, Ben Wallace, the anchor, right, Tajon Prince, the defensive ball stopper, Chauncey Billups, the head of the snake, who was running the team, and Richard Hamilton. Anytime he needed a bucket, he wasn't the superstar, but he'll give you a bucket. And then you have your role players. So I believe you surround this team with the right role players, the right people. It's a possibility, but nothing is given to you in this NBA. They're gonna have to work hard for it, and that's how I see it.
Do you think a Detroit built type team can win in this type of NBA? And that's for anybody.
That's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
let somebody
tough.
else.
Well,
That's gonna be tough. Oh, go
Can
ahead.
you ask that again? What was the question again?
Do you think that, I mean, Detroit was able to do it, but in the way the NBA is now, do you think a Detroit type team can win now? Or is that just an era going by?
I'll go first. I really like the Detroit. I know example. I know a lot of people use that. I'm not just talking about like what Stafford just said. A lot of people use Detroit, but I think a lot of people forget how good that Detroit team was. Like not even just defensively. Rip Hamilton is like a 3-time All-Star. Rasheed Wallace is like a 3 or 4-time All-Star. Ben Wallace won the Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. Chauncey Billups is an All-Star caliber player. Like, they are not who we have now either. Like, they are a way better team than what we have.
Oh, no
And
doubt about it.
But they're better players than the players that we have now, period. Like, Brunson, Randle, and RJ are not better than any of the people that I named at basketball.
But they don't have to be Detroit. But the point is, if they're playing at a high level, like, they don't have to be better than Detroit was. But if they're playing at a high enough level, can you surround them with enough people to be good enough players to be in championship contention? Right?
No.
They don't have to duplicate Detroit.
I think just by people using Detroit as an example, like they didn't have any stars, they will have to be better than Detroit in order to achieve that, to me. Because a lot of people don't think that Detroit team was all that. That's why everybody used them as an example. But they had multiple All-Stars.
I think they were. They were, but the thing about it is, you couldn't take any individual player on that team and say this guy is a star. It was how they played together and the fact that they was winning. And then, when a team is winning 50 something, games, okay, well, who's the best players on that team? Right. But
True.
you didn't, at least I didn't look at Rip Hamilton and say, oh, this guy is a star, or look at Chauncey Billups and say this guy's a star. But I thought what they did collectively and how that team fit, that the whole was greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
But I'm not taking anything away from Detroit, whether they were stars or not. They played at a high level.
Yeah, like Ben
Rip
Wallace is in
Hamilton
the
played
Hall of
at a high
Fame.
level.
Like we
Ben
talk about a
Wallace,
Hall, right.
that
Like we was about to say the same thing. Like Ben Wallace, that's like a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Hall of Famer over there. Like I don't want to. Every time people bring up that Detroit
he
team,
became that though.
yeah,
You know what I
you're right.
mean?
You're
He
right.
became that.
You're right. Definitely, he worked hard for that.
He
Like he
became
came
that
out of nowhere.
over time.
You're right.
And I think Rip got his All-Star appearances after that season. I don't think he got too many prior to them winning the championship.
Yeah,
My
he
memory serves.
was good. Like he was
was
good.
good.
He just wasn't, he wasn't Michael Jordan or anything. I see what Steph is saying. Like he wasn't like the upper echelon. You wouldn't think of Rip Hamilton as like a top 3 2-guard while he was playing.
Right.
But he
right,
was an all-star though.
But for that team,
Yeah, exactly.
those
Man,
guys played at a high level.
And they had a great run in the playoffs as well.
And not just that year.
And also their coach is something. I don't know. Can Tibbs be Larry Brown?
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
Tibbs
The
being
most.
that damn Larry
They
Brown.
was upset with Larry Brown
We
because
had
Larry Brown. No,
he was
Larry,
from us.
what'd you say?
I said we had Larry Brown. I don't want him to be Larry Brown, yo.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is Larry Brown got the same flack Tibbs did because he
Yes.
wanted things done a certain way.
Yep.
And things had to be structured a certain way. You got to play the game the right way.
Yep.
And he wore out his welcome in a lot of places too.
He did.
But
Everywhere.
but they bought in, that particular team bought into what he was saying at that time.
Mhm.
And they were
Veteran
able
team.
to they were able to do it. Anybody else think now, don't get me wrong. We talking about Randle playing the way he's playing now forever. We're not talking about,
Right,
the
right,
up
yeah,
and down. We're
yeah.
talking about Randle playing the way he's
Consistent,
playing
yeah.
now forever.
Right.
We're talking about RJ, who's been playing very well over the past week. Like this is his floor, like
Right.
forever. Right? We're not talking about the up and down Randle, the up and down RJ. That's not going to cut it. Anybody else?
I still think that's an interesting comparison. The Knicks would have to get better depth, or our bench would have to really ascend as well for us to be able to be a Detroit level team and for us to beat these teams in the Eastern Conference. When you look at just the individual matchups, like how do we match up with Philly? When healthy. In the playoffs, I worry about that matchup. I think Embiid would destroy Mitch, and I think we would lose that series. So if we'd have to get kind of lucky, I think, in our, playoff run for us to potentially become a championship team. Obviously, RJ would have to take the next step. Randle would have to continue this run, this Eastern
Correct.
Player of the Week run. I don't know if he can do that for a full season. He's playing really great basketball right now, but we know basketball players are going to hit highs and lows and all that kind of stuff. Brunson is him right now. But we would need everyone else would have to take a jump. I don't think we win a championship with this team, but I think we can be in the top echelon of the conference, top 4 at best with this team.
Oh, well, I'm not. I'm not even talking about this team.
At best.
I'm not talking about this team. I guess the question I'm saying, can you have these 3 guys as your core and build around them?
Right.
Not necessarily this particular team. Can you have those 3 guys as your core and build around them and become a championship contender with the right pieces around them? Or do you feel like these 3 pieces right here are either not good enough in and of themselves, or the fit is not great?
Yeah.
It's so tough because
tough.
because the only person that we can truly trust is Brunson.
Yeah, I was
Even
about to
with
say.
Randle playing like this, we
Yep.
don't know, does he devolve? And even with being an RJ fan, like we all established earlier, he is inconsistent. Can we guarantee he makes that serious next step, the jump where we obviously would love him to be like a sharpshooter type, but that's not probably his game. But no, I guess would be my answer. We would have to get a really, really
After
good
all that?
other player.
No.
I'm trying to be realistic. Y'all,
No,
Right.
no.
y'all say I'm the
Okay.
most
This
optimistic
is
fan.
it. This is the
So
conversation.
this
Yes.
is
Right.
me. This is me trying here. Maybe the hospital, maybe more down. I don't know. But I'm very happy with how RJ has been playing lately. So I will say that. Look at him make his return. Amen. That said,
That's tough.
with those three, with Rand, they're not all three two-way players either. That's my other concern. I feel like your big three all need to be two-way players. Have to. And we're
Well,
not necessarily seeing that.
yeah. We'll talk to Philly too.
See, I agree
With
with that too.
Harden.
Point
as-
taken. That's they can, but see, they haven't.
I don't think they're gonna
Make
win
a good
nothing either.
point.
I'm about to say, but I don't think they're gonna win anything either, though,
Yeah,
because of that. Because of that. Because they're great, obviously, but yeah, because of that, they're not gonna win.
Yeah, because I feel like a Milwaukee still beats them. But carry on. That's how I
as
feel.
currently constructed, yes.
Mm.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Freezy
Unquestionable.
or Stafford?
Okay. The Randle inconsistent thing, I think, is a reach. Because it's ironic how we point out that Randle is inconsistent, but when you look at Jalen Brunson's game log proves that Jalen Brunson is inconsistent. I mean, we can point out specific games that Jalen Brunson, was not like the thing. I think playing together, I think they will grow to be consistent as a team. Once they get like the continuity down, because even though RJ Barrett started this season slow, he did not start this season as slow as he started other seasons. This time last year, RJ Barrett had a 12-point per game season. This year, RJ Barrett had a 17-point per game. I'm sorry, he had a 12-point per game month. Right, last year, during the same period this year, it's a 17-point per game month, and we consider that to be down. Right, I just think these guys together, through their learning how to play with each other, there are going to be some inconsistencies. There are going to be some times where RJ struggles to find his way, and Randle struggles to find his way, and even Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson had an 8-point game where he couldn't throw the ball in the ocean, and these type of things are gonna happen. I think can this team win together? I think so.
Those three as a core, if you feel like you can build it out and they can be championship contenders with those three as your core.
Yes.
You don't think the Brunson wasn't affected by like the multiple like nagging injuries that he was nursing, but just was playing through it? Like he had dude fall on him and everything. I did see all that.
I understand. I understand.
I think that affected his shot anyway. I can't talk about the rest of this game, but I think he was playing when other people might have just said, "I'm out."
I want to ask y'all: do you think a guy that just turned 26 in September and a guy that just turned 22 in June have reached their NBA ceilings? Because if you say yes, then of course this team won't be a champ. They can't. There's no need to even talking about the question no more. But if you feel like a dude that just turned 26 in September, Jalen Brunson, and a dude that just turned 22 in June can get better as NBA players, then the question is an excellent question. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those two guys can get better as NBA players. One dude is a fourth year player. The other one is a fifth-year player. In a conference where there are a bunch of 10th, 11th, and 12th year players. You know what I'm saying?
I see your point.
I'm saying in due time when these cats play together, I think they can contend. Now, the thing is, as a Knicks fan, I don't care about contending for championships. I want them to win championships. I don't care about being relevant. I don't care about special seasons. I don't care about, some fantasy run. You know what I'm saying? I think it's long time overdue for the Knicks to win multiple championships. Other franchises have done it. I think it's our time. But if it's
Right,
just
but you
about
gotta
if it's
contend
just about
first, though. Freeze, you gotta be in the conversation. Like
I
right
know
now.
that. I
Okay.
know that. I know that.
Okay.
I know that. I understand that. I've been watching basketball for a long time, Queen. I understand. What I'm saying is this though. If we feel like Queen, if you feel like Jalen Brunson is capped where he is, and RJ Barrett is capped where he is, then of course we don't even have to answer the question.
Right.
But if you feel like they can get better, then I feel like they can take these steps to and the reason why I say it like that, Queen B, is because the question is an excellent question. Because I think you're referencing, can they do it in this era of basketball with their skill sets? Right? And if that's the case, I feel like as young as these guys are, they can grow in this modern era of basketball and contend for championships as long as you get the right supporting cast. Right? But that's the players.
So we're talking about these three as your best player. I'm not talking about bringing in the star. I'm talking about these three as your best player. Can you build out
with a supporting cast?
Yes.
Around them.
Yes.
I understand where you're going. That's why I was going to say. Okay. That's why I was going to say the players. That's what I'm saying. Like, to your question, the player part of it is yes, in my opinion.
Right.
The front office part of it, in my opinion, is no, because they have not shown you that they have the ability to get the requisite parts to bring in to support a Randle and RJ when he was by himself, a Randle when he was by himself, or even now the bench, the guys coming off the bench right now are not even the guys that the front office intended to be the supporting parts. The Derrick Roses, the Evan Fourniers, all these guys that were supposed to Kemba Walkers, the Alec Burkses, the Nerlens, all the guys that were supposed to be those supporting parts are gone or not contributing.
Right.
So if you're talking about just those three players, I think so. But I don't and two, you ask like these hard questions and they're so layered that when you when you address the question, you got to think about like when you asked it, I was immediately thinking like, oh snap, she asking me, can these three guys carry a franchise despite what goes on around the rest of the franchise? That's what I'm thinking when I hear your question.
Because you don't believe the front office could get them the help that they need.
I don't think they know what they need. You know what I'm saying? It's like going shopping and you don't know what you're shopping for.
Now, that's a different about to say that's a different conversation.
Right. Yeah, this is probably Queen Bee. I ain't gonna lie. I think this is probably one of the best questions I heard in Knicks universe in a while. Probably maybe in like the 2 or 3 years I've been doing it. Because we always ask like the basic questions, like what's wrong with Julius? You know what I'm saying? But this question right here, like when you ask it, it's so multi-pronged. You got to think about all the aspects of what it is that you asking and think about those individual things piece by snap. I got to do something. I got to get what's the name started. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it is a tough question, and Ivory 10, I appreciate you, because the only reason it came up was because that we had won 5 in a row, and Randle was playing well, and Brunson was playing relatively well. You know, Brunson is hurt. RJ had seemed to turn the corner, and it just got me thinking, like, wow, if these guys continue to play this way, I'm wondering, could the front office build around them? But to Freezy's point, you would have to be, as a front office, like
good.
Not just good.
That's why I said that's a completely different conversation.
You would have to have like a super duper plan of like,
okay,
this is these guys' skill sets. All of them like to play with the ball in their hands. We don't need a lot of scorers around them. We got to get them shooters. We got to get two-way players. We got to get, you understand what I'm saying? Like you would have to be very specific in terms of what you're looking for to put around them. Like I was listening to Freezy's show. Was it today? When somebody was talking about DeMar DeRozan. And I'm saying, I like DeMar. I like him. But if you got these three guys and you saying, all right, I think we can build around these three.
Oh, then nah.
I don't know how DeRozan would like. I think you would have to be real specific in terms of who you put around them. I don't know if DeRozan would fit.
Right. I do not want to see DeMar DeRozan, RJ, and Julius Randle on the court at the same time.
Well, I feel like that means one of
them got to
RJ
go.
goes.
Yeah.
Like in that trade, I would assume they would request him, even with the quote.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I'm saying regardless if they request for one of them or not, one of them got to go if DeMar DeRozan is coming here. That I don't know. That seemed like that offense would look nasty. Like, I don't want to see that.
Right.
And there's not enough 3-point shooting there either.
At all.
Yeah.
Randle definitely would turn.
Well now,
I was about to say Randle would definitely turn into Larry Bird then. Like he's gonna be chucking.
But he already shooting like over 7 a game.
Let somebody that can't shoot threes be in the starting lineup. He's gonna shoot even more than that.
Maybe Mitch starts shooting threes though.
Don't see.
I gotta mess with you.
You know what?
That's your boy.
I feel like, as I was saying before, anything is possible. Any team that enters the playoffs, it's a brand new season. And any team could get hot and make it to a championship. My next probably example, people might not agree with it because they had a one star on there, and that was Atlanta. Atlanta took down Philly. Atlanta took down, I don't quote me, I don't remember. But they got hot.
Right.
Yeah.
And they knocked off everybody. So
they went against Milwaukee.
I mean, to say that this team can't make a run and get to a championship, it's ludicrous.
You talking about this?
Anything is possible.
Team or building around a core? You're talking about this particular team right here?
I'm sorry, my phone broke up. What you said, Queen?
You're not talking about building around a core. You're talking about this particular team can get hot and make it to the finals.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Even with this same core, and we put certain role players around them that knows their role. Like, for instance, Quentin Grimes. He know his role at the end of the day is to guard the best player on their team defensively every night. And when he has to make his 3-point shot, he makes it. Deuce. His to be a terror on the defensive end. Mitch, kill him on the boards. Brunson, RJ, and Randle have to share the responsibility of elevating the team. So once they have a chemistry, anything is possible. Anything is possible. People you hear coaches say this all the time. The postseason is a brand new season. Everybody is at 0-0. And anybody could make a run. That's all I'm saying.
Say this real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
My only concern with what you're saying, and I hear you, is that we're not going to get the calls when it comes to playoffs. We can't get them in the regular season.
Why not?
And so,
come on, Tsunami, man. No. I'm not going with that. I'm not rolling with that. Come with something better than that, Tsunami. Come with something better than that.
From watching basketball,
that's our opinion, man.
Like, I mean, we see it.
The
reason why Giannis, okay. The star normally in the fourth quarter closes out, right? What if RJ or Randle are going to the basket and getting hacked? This happens constantly. Randle's getting the calls as of right now. If he does not, I did.
But you didn't have Brunson going to the basket.
I'm gonna go Brunson in a second.
Okay, I'm about to say.
I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
When we come to closing situations and we're going to be playing playoff basketball, that's when the defensive intensity goes up. We all see this. It's one of the reasons why it looked like Atlanta, they rose their defensive intensity. Ours was the same intensity we had in the regular season. And so also you have to have the aspect of adjustments in the in the playoffs as well that I question that Tibbs would be able to make. But the big key that I'm really going in on that is I feel like they'll take Brunson out of it.
I'm gonna give you another example.
Yeah.
Let me give you another example. The 1999 Knicks. We were the 8th seed. We knocked down the big bad Miami Heat. Okay? And we went straight to the finals without Patrick Ewing, with all role players. Allen Houston, Sprewell, Camby, and the list goes on and on. Another example,
okay.
the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets back then knocked off a #1 seed.
Weren't those back when round one was still 5 games and not 7-game series?
But what I'm saying, Tsunami, you're not getting the point. My point is anything is possible.
Okay.
Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Kevin Durant on the team.
But we're talking probably. Right. You're right. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
But we're
can't
talking
argue
about
that.
like what are the percentages though that this team is
17.
getting to the finals? Is low.
I mean, it's all about chemistry, Queen, in my opinion, and how they play with each other. Freezy alluded to it earlier. As long as they get comfortable playing with each other, knowing each other's tendencies, who to give the Brunson, the general, who to put in place, and who where to go and who where to this, everybody know their role, and everybody gelling as one. Why is this not possible?
It's possible, but probable. It's possible.
I know.
I like this.
Listen, I understand where you're coming, Queen. I know it's a very, very slim chance. You know what I mean? But it's possible.
Yes, it's possible.
Any team could get hot and go on a run.
Right. But how sustainable is that though? Look at Atlanta, right? You can get hot and you can go on a run. I want the Knicks to be in contention every single year.
Perennial. Mm-hmm.
Well, Queen, in order to do that, we got to make it to the postseason every year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Every year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every year we have to make it to the postseason. So in order to make it possible, we have to play stellar ball from this day forth. If we want, excuse me, if we're going to ever have a chance of thinking we're going to get to that next level.
Well, to me, I think the next level is, and that's what I'm trying to get at in terms of roster construction to get us to the next level. Can these 3 guys be a core to get us to the next level, or is the formula basically 2 stars right now, and build around that?
I'm gonna go back to what Freezy said. If the front office have to bring in the players to surround these guys to be what they needed them to be. It's the front office. Because we can't just bring in anybody willy-nilly and feel that we could make it. If we bring in a superstar, the Rosa, think we're going to make it to the championship. I'm just saying that as an example.
Right.
We have to have guys that fit. And to Freezy's point, I don't know if this front office has the capability of choosing these guys.
Yeah, there is a separation of power based on the question. See, that's why Queen be asking these questions, man. You need to send us these questions like 2 or 3 days in advance.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is when you ask us that, you have to break it down because it's not even about the 3 players because even is the coach capable of coaching in these big time moments? in these game sixes
Facts.
with 2 minutes
But
left.
it don't have to be Tibbs though, coaching that core. It could get somebody else to do it.
No, but Queen B, I never said Tibbs. I said the coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
I said
meant
I said the coach, right?
That's why I said
And is the front office, identify like not a current weakness, but future weaknesses and get ahead of the curve and bring the guy in before the weakness turns into something devastating and derail the season. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to think. It's a lot to think about here. It's a lot to think about here. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this, just real quick, and then I'll slide. I'll acquiesce so somebody else can jump in too. Right? Is Jalen Brunson a upper third point guard? Is Jalen Brunson top 10, maybe top 8 point guard? Is Julius Randle maybe top 10, top 8 at his position? And
they would need to be.
No. I'm going back to the part where you said the 3B players.
Right.
Because I never got a chance to say nothing about it. So if there are 3B players, see, because the Pistons didn't win with 3 players, right? They won with 6 B players, right? You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a big 3. They had like 6 dudes that were playing at such a level, right? But my thing is do we have faith that Jalen Brunson can be a top 8 to 10 point guard in the league and play that way for an entire season?
I do.
Right? And like Kenny, it's not even based on his performance on the floor. Our nervousness and trepidation is can the Smurf stay healthy?
Not the Smurf, bro.
Because if he can stay healthy, then he can really give us we really like the way this team looked with Brunson if he can stay healthy. And can Julius Randle perform at a top 8 to 10 play at his position? Because if he can consistently, with the help of Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett and the help that the front office brings in, then I think I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to be on the side of Stafford with this. Because if everything comes together,
Stafford talking about this team. We talking about taking these 3 and adding to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too.
Right, that's what I was.
That's in the same context.
This particular team without any changes.
Yeah.
Oh
Top
no.
12 is where I would put him.
Oh, okay.
No,
you have to bring in the right set of guys too.
Okay, Stafford, because I'm just saying.
That's what I thought you
I was
said
like,
too.
you think this team right here.
Yeah, I think you misheard her question.
If that's the case, the team is currently constructed. Can we really depend on Grimes and McBride and IQ to step their level? And listen,
they would need to get to do what we're trying to do. That bench,
right,
yeah,
right, and Hartenstein.
Oh,
we have so many scoring lapses at times. From our bench,
and I'm
worry me.
And listen, the 3 guards I mentioned, they're going to be fine NBA players, but in this scenario, based on what was asked, I don't know if it's fair to them to ask them to be playoff ready, especially when 2 of them have never even been to the playoffs. Right?
Yeah. I mean, to your Brunson point, to me, the question is, can he be the point guard on a championship contending team? Right? I mean, you could compare him in terms of where he ranks with the other players. You could point guards in the league. You can do that. But the question for me is, if you have a championship contending team, can he be the point guard on that team?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
But Freezy, I don't see him as being injury prone. I mean, he's getting knocked around this season, but I don't see Brunson as being an injury prone player.
No, I'm not saying I'm not mentioning injuries. I'm saying hurt. Because there's a difference between being injured and being hurt.
Banged up. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time in his career that he is absolutely taking on all the primary playmaking duties in his carear.
Yes.
So can he handle all of that stuff and be dinged? This is what I'm talking like when I talk about him, I'm not talking about him in a negative way. I'm talking about him as, even though he's a 5th year guard, he's played with Luka his entire career before here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Luka aside, right? I'm referring to, a guard having help in the backcourt to handle the duties. Now, Luka's is a great NBA player, generational talent, probably a Hall of Famer, right? But what I'm speaking to is on one team, he had a dude helping him share the duties. On this team, he's got Randle. Because Grimes is not ready to be that yet. And RJ is not ready to be that yet. And so it's not taking on all those duties and constantly getting hit when he go to the rim. Right? Because Brunson is not a three-point shooter like Steph Curry that's not going to the rim. Brunson is that guy that's always going to the rim, kamikaze style. So he's always going to get touched and hit and fouled and all that stuff. And can he play that style and handle all those primary ball handling duties? That's what I'm referring to. So
Gotcha.
I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm saying think about all these things when you see Brunson. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it remains. I mean, listen, for all three of them, it remains to be seen. And that's why I prefaced the question by saying Randle playing the way he's playing now for the rest of his career. RJ playing the way he's playing now, this being his floor. He can get better, but it's not going to get worse than how he's played over this. And I'm just talking about over the past week, right? Because he's been playing at a higher level this past week. And then Brunson, who I think, his value to the team doesn't always show up, in the stat sheet. So, for those to build around those three, they would have to show that they can play consistently at a high level. Otherwise, you're going to look for replacements. That's what all front offices do. They look and see how can they upgrade their team. For the Knicks to make a commitment to build around those three, they would have to be playing very well for a longer period of time than this, week or two.
All right. I like the comment that says Norman Powell will help us out. I think he'd be a good addition to the team as well if we could make that.
Crazy.
I don't know how.
Yes, sir.
But he'd be a good fit.
Yes.
That's
crazy.
You're looking for.
He's injured right now.
Well, you don't like Norman
Crazy.
Powell?
Yeah.
He's injury prone.
Be careful when you're calling these players' names, because one of your followers might just be stupid enough to go in the arena and call these guys Ham, Sand, and Smurf and get their butt kicked out. He's a content creator. Set the example, big brother. Don't call them that, man.
Yeah, hey man, too late, staffer. Too late, bro. I've been doing this 50+ years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's about etiquette and things of that sort, right? But we in and Queen know this too, where you have to educate, but you also have to make people want to continue and watch your thing, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's just not just about information. If they want information, they'll just go read the box score. They want to see Queen B face on camera and talk that talk the way the Knicks talk, like they don't like the way they like to have that talk to them. And that's what we doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the Smurf. He know he's short. He wakes up every day.
I'm gonna laugh every damn time. I swear.
You gonna keep calling him that?
Jerrell's face.
Bro, he know he's short though. I mean, it's not like yesterday he was asleep. Yeah, it's not like yesterday he was 6'6". The day he woke up, he was 5'11". You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He know these,
He played like he's 6'6" though, Freeze.
But I was gonna say it's what's in your heart. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get it.
So somebody in the chat said Norman Powell.
Mm-hmm.
Put on your GM hat or front office hat. Those three guys are playing at a high level, right? And they're sustaining it. Mm-hmm. And you decide that you're going to build a team around them.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going after that you think would be a good fit? Even if it's not a particular player, it could be a style, of player.
Like we changing coaches and anything?
You can do, yeah. I mean, whatever you think would that you would need to put around those three to get them into contention. And I definitely think we would have to sell off, and the fan base probably would go crazy. But if the Knicks decided to go in that direction, those guys are young enough. They have a window. This is not like a short window.
Yeah,
they would have to get off of some of the young players in order to get them help.
Yeah, I'm assuming that since you said those three, like everybody else is gone. That I would.
Hag, you wouldn't keep Grimes?
I mean, I might can't keep Grimes for the moves that I'm making. Like if I have to get like OG from Toronto, they're probably going to want Grimes.
Yeah,
and that means Grimes going to Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, but OG is definitely somebody. Somebody says Sadiq Bey. Yeah, Trav says Sadiq Bey. Salute to Trav. Somebody said
I saw that he was on the block.
Who's coming off the bench now and only played 17 minutes last night, or the last game he played.
He's been playing rough from what I've heard. That he's had a rough.
So basically, we need two-way players because Sadiq is somebody who could defend and shoot. OG Anunoby is somebody that can defend and shoot.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be those names. It's just players like them because OG, we was talking about like injury-prone players. He's not even playing now. Like he's hurt now. So
again.
He's definitely an injury-prone.
OG Anunoby. This must have just happened when today.
Nah,
he played the last game, didn't he?
I don't think so.
He did. Okay.
I don't think so. I could be wrong though. Hold on, I'll look it up. But I actually do believe he's hurt.
Mm-hmm. Sherwin said Trey Murphy, another person who can shoot.
That's the cat from the Pelicans, right?
OG Anunoby is hurt.
Yeah, he hurt.
Okay.
Trey Murphy, I like Trey Murphy, but if I'm the Pelicans, I'm not giving him to nobody. Like I'm keeping him and Brandon Ingram, like
and Herb Jones,
all of them. I'm keeping all of them. If I'm
and Najee Marshall,
they're the number one seed. I'm not trading nobody. That doesn't make any sense. I can see why you would want him though, but if I'm the Pelicans, I'm not trading him.
Right, but he's the type of player, like somebody, the type of player that you would put around those three.
Yes.
Somebody that's not going to command the ball, somebody that can play off the ball, somebody that can defend. And I think as far as a center with those guys, you would actually need somebody like Mitch, but somebody that's playing at a high level, though.
Yeah. It would have to be somebody like you said, play like Mitch, but a better player than Mitch.
Because I don't know how
Kelly Oubre is a good one. I see Kerry Cox said that in the chat. I wouldn't mind him. I don't know what he would command trade value.
Probably
he's having a very good season right now.
Right. He's somebody that can defend, but he's a spotty shooter. You know, as far as his 3-point, but he can definitely defend. You would definitely need defenders around this team, this core, and shooters.
Right.
I have a simple move, and I know it'll sound ridiculous, but I think it gets us closer to that place that Queen was referencing, right? Because I understand that this is a scenario. We understand that this is only a scenario. So those watching don't think we're saying that the front office better do whatever. Right, but what I would do is trade Cam Reddish to the Orlando Magic for Jonathan Isaac.
I thought you was talking about not.
What about Terrence Ross? Freezy, you don't like a Terrence Ross?
Hold, slow down, man. Get out of fifth. Let's get in third. Back up to second gear. Put him in.
Why you doing me like that, bro?
Because you didn't hear why I said do this. But before you heard me, before you let me elaborate on why Jonathan Isaac, you shifted gears.
No, all I said is what about a Terrence Ross? I never said Isaac. So I
said Isaac. I said Isaac, and you said what about Terrence Ross? I was here. Steph, I was here when you said it, bro. What I'm saying is this. The Isaac thing is interesting, but the thing about Jonathan Isaac, though, is Jonathan Isaac, when healthy, is probably the best wing defender in the NBA. Right? You're talking about a dude that's 6'11", 230, that can defend every position on the floor. You don't want to game plan him for ones, but if he switched onto a one, it's not a mismatch. It's like having a Ben Simmons on your perimeter, right? Now, the thing about Jonathan Isaac, why he's a fit for us, is because he's a low usage offensive player.
Right. And
He's
that's what you're going to need around that core.
Right. And he's going to knock down wide open 3-pointers. Now, when you ask him to create 3-pointers, you're asking him to get out of his element. But if you ever kick it to him and he's open, he's going to knock it down. So what that does immediately is in those lineups where you want to diversify your offense and defensive lineups, say you want to stagger your big three, so to speak, you can have Isaac fill in for that third very good player, and you don't lose your offensive punch, but it also gives you defensive flexibility where, say, if it's RJ and Brunson on the floor, right? Isaac can play the 4, right? Well, right? And defend. When he switches onto bigs, you don't have to worry about Jonathan Isaac giving up 3-pointers to Vucevic, right? But you also don't have to worry about if Jonathan Isaac gets switched on to SGA. If Isaac gets switched on to SGA, it's still advantage Knicks, right? But then if you take RJ off the floor, right, Isaac plays the 3. You have Brunson, Grimes, Isaac, Randle, and whomever is the 5, right? You can even consider RJ and Isaac on the floor at the same time while you rest Randle and Brunson, right? Because Isaac is an exceptional athlete and he's from the Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them hometown things. You know, it's just a little thing, just a little seasoning on top of the stuff that we like, right? So Isaac gives you the roster roster flexibility, positional flexibility, schematic flexibility to fill in all the gaps. Whereas before, when you take out, say, RJ, you're hoping whoever you bring in just don't mess up, right? Now you take in RJ, you're confident that you can keep a lead until RJ comes back, and then you can close out the game with a defensive lineup of Grimes, RJ, Isaac, Randle, Mitch. Defensively. Now, I'm not talking about offensively, because offensively, you want the Smurf on the floor because he's a closer, right? But Isaac gives you all these, and on top of all this stuff, he is going to be cheap to acquire, right? They're not playing him right now. He's just about ready to play right now, and they're still not playing him, right? Because they want to tank. It's the same thing Detroit doing in Detroit with Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey is a winning player. They want to tank. It's the reason why Cade Cunningham is out for the year with a shin injury.
Right? That was weird. Go ahead.
Right? So the Jonathan Isaac for Cam Reddish thing, you give Orlando a player that if he gets it right, he can become a star for them. But that's not our issue, right? Because we're on different paths. Orlando is trying to find stars. They'll do anything they did to find the star to get them over the hump. We want to reinforce what we already have at low risk and low capital so that if things don't go right, we still have the draft pick flexibility to still continue our plan in the offseason. That's why I say Isaac over Terrence Ross Stafford.
The versatility.
If he could stay healthy, it'd be good.
If he can stay healthy,
has he played?
That's
much
the
this
biggest
season?
question.
Right.
I know he didn't play
wing
the
players.
first time.
But wing play. I'm sorry, Tsunami. But wing players are always going to get hurt. No matter what wing player you get, I don't care if it's Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, OG Anunoby. It don't matter. Jonathan Isaac, Ben Simmons. No matter what elite defender you get, he is gonna get hurt. That's why it's always best to have 3 of them. Because no matter how good they are, they're gonna get hurt because you ask them to do too much stuff. And while it sounds like, well, that's what they get paid for, when they put their body on the line like that, they're gonna get hurt, man. It's just like it is
Yep.
what it is. It's just part of it.
It is, but he's hurt squared though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I like
But
Isaac.
so was Kawhi.
I like Isaac though.
But so was Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right? So was OG Anunoby.
Yeah. 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 Can't argue with that. Another reason I brought up this topic is because when I'm listening to various chats, and I listen to you a lot, Freezy. Sometimes I don't even say anything. People are still talking about the young guys. And I feel like the Knicks as an organization have made their decision. And by that meaning, we're going to win now. If you're young and you're good enough to be in the rotation, you will be in the rotation if we believe that, you can help us. But we're not going to prioritize development over winning, right? We're going to try to win. So, and Rayology, shout out to Rayology from Houston. I haven't seen him in a while. Hope all is well with you. I know he said he listens.
He going through it, yeah.
Yeah. He always said, pick a direction, and the decisions that you make need to be consistent with that direction. So before we got Brunson, we was talking about getting Brunson. He said, whoa. What are we doing? If we're trying to develop the young players, why are we bringing in Brunson? Rock with IQ. If you're trying to win, then you're going to bring in Brunson. That's a totally different direction. So the Knicks, in my opinion, has doubled down a few times that they're trying to win. They're trying to make the playoffs. They're going to evolve into a championship contending team over time. And the young players that's on our team, if they're good enough to play, they'll play and they'll help us. But we're not switching to just a youth movement. So if that's what the Knicks are trying to do, I would think at some point, some of our young players are just not going to be here. As difficult as that is to accept, because of the direction that the Knicks organization has taken, some of them will be here. But this youth movement that people are talking about, I think as the years go on, and it may not even be years, it may be as the year goes on, things are going to change on that front. Your opinions on that?
As in, we're going to make a move soon, or just
that? Do you agree that the Knicks have chosen a direction of winning, trying to make the playoffs, tinkering it with the team over time in terms to get to championship contention, as opposed to breaking it all down and starting over?
100%. That is exactly what they're doing now. They did make that decision. I 100% agree with that. And what moves may happen may be small going forward because of that, just to fine tune this rotation. Because it doesn't appear that the star is out there right now. But when we do get a chance to get the star, I think we'll make that change and break up all the young peoples, so to speak. At that point,
do you think they would move somebody for a smaller piece, like a Jonathan Isaac, like a Terrence Ross, like somebody mentioned this to me today, Finney Smith from Dallas.
Interesting. 3-and-D guy.
I don't see them working with us, to be honest.
I think Dallas match forever.
You think that bridge has been burnt?
Yeah, I think
it would have to be a 3-team deal. But maybe if it's a 3-team deal, we can do that.
Never say never, but I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know if outside of, we have 3 players available right now, right? Cam Reddish, Evan Fournier, and the third and Derrick Rose. Outside of that, I don't think anyone else is going unless it's like maybe one of our predicted first round picks. I don't think they're going to throw IQ in there, for example. I know that was like rumored at one point and then it got dismissed recently as well. I don't see it. I feel like we should be able to make a trade with those 3 players to get an additional piece that could help this rotation.
Shoot, with the amount of money that they make, that's almost like that's $30-something million on the bench.
Yeah.
Just chilling. So yeah, we
almost
need to
40
make a
million.
move.
With those players. Cam Reddish should be your attractive piece at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's expiring and all that. Young player. Hold his rights if you get him. I would imagine. I don't see us trading like an OB or an IQ, for example, for a good rotational player. Now, if it's one of those better players, star players, then, you know, of course, they'll throw the kitchen sink in at this point, I think.
Right. Shout out to Margaret Edwards. I hear you. I'm not sure who do you think the core is at this point. Like right now, I think the core is the people the Knicks shelled out the money to, which is RJ, Randle, Brunson, and Mitch. That's who they shelled the money out to. I don't think the core is. Now, I'm not saying that I do think they're a part of the team and they're a part of the rotation and they're going to contribute, but I don't think the core is Quickly, Grimes, McBride, and Obi. I don't think that's the core of the team, but I do think that they're an integral part of what we're trying to do for right now.
I would hope that they're not the core of our team.
One quick comment I just saw in the chat regarding
Can you put it
Tyrell Terry? Nah, I can't. I'm not fancy.
Terry from Arizona, the rookie?
No, that's Dylan Terry.
Oh, that's Dylan. Yeah, I loved him coming out.
Oh, Dalen Terry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him too.
I wanted to make sure the kid from Dallas was that he wasn't talking about him because I know that kid retired today. Saw that on Twitter.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Who retired?
Dallas Mavericks pick a little while ago.
Tyrell Terry?
Yes, Tyrell Terry. And I saw his name was listed in there in the chat. Okay. So I remember seeing it. He made a Twitter post or Instagram post saying he's retired because of pressure, basically.
Yeah, young point guard got drafted in what was that? It might have been the Obi draft. I forgot.
He's young. 2020. That's all I remember reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
Anything else you guys want to throw out here? And I gotta say, DJ Shuttle, prior to this recent play of the Knicks, I was a little upset that the Knicks had committed money to a core of Brunson, RJ, Mitch, and Randle. I got to be honest.
Right.
They started playing well as of late, and I'm feeling a slightly better. I'm feeling much better about it. But for a minute, I was like, they locked. I mean, obviously, you can move off of them. But I was like, wow, this is who they chose to commit their money to. Like, wow.
Yep.
I still don't think that Halliburton was shopped. I think that Sacramento just was willing to make that deal with Indian with
Where did that come from?
I just saw the comment in there.
I said, where'd that come from?
I'm trying to interact with the comments. I'm trying
to say that's a front office conversation too.
The core is who we drafted. They will grow and get better.
Oh nah, they got
Halliburton comment is beneath that one.
Nah, the core. I mean, Margaret. I mean, you got to look at what's going on with the team. Right. You know, if the guys who we drafted, if they're the core, then the core becomes the center of your team. Those are the guys who get the most minutes. Those are the you move off of the other guys. You look at OKC, you look at Detroit, what they're doing, moving off the vets because these young guys are their core so that they can get the time. The Knicks are not doing that. And I'm not saying that our young guys are not a part of our future and that they're not going to develop and that they're not going to play. But when you have a core, you can see the commitment from the core, from the front office. And I'm not seeing that to be able to say that our young guys are a core, unless you're including Mitch and RJ.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And for that reason, I think Obi will be one of the first to be traded. I think it's going to be a shocker. I think it's going to shock Knicks Nation, but I think Obi. I think Obi.
Me at all.
Yeah, because when we watch film, yeah, and so Jay, when we watch film, bro, like when we do the film breakdown of what ails the Knicks, bro, when you see Obi topping on defense, it makes you so freaking mad that you could just take your dinner and just throw it in the wall, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you love Obi. It's like he walk and talk and model everything that you want in an NBA player, right? And then he get on the floor and you see everybody else doing a job, and then Obi will get lost for a second and not find his way and just be in like a space. And you're like, Obi, what are you doing? And then the other team will score, and then RJ and Randle pointing at each other. And you're like, oh, now these two beefing because this dude is up at the top of the key. He lost track of his. Because, Queen, you know when you on the court and you playing defense, the first thing you're supposed to always know is where the ball is, right?
Right.
Before body positioning and before personnel and before time and score and before all of that stuff, right? You got to know where the ball is. And Obi sometimes will lose track of it, and then he'll be like, and then he don't even peel out. The thing you're supposed to do when you get lost, just go find you a man that's not covered. Just sprint to him, right? Like if there's if there's somebody that's don't have nobody on them, just go to him. Just go to him, right? But Obi won't do that, and then you'll see Obi drop down, and then help the helper, but the person he helping already has help from the original person, and now the person with the ball can just make a pass around 2 or 3 Knicks for a wide open dunk. And y'all saw it in the Memphis game like 3 times. Like, yeah, how is Adams getting so free under the rim? How is Animes so wide open in the corner for 3? How is Kevin Love so wide open at the top of the 3 in the Cleveland game? It's because Obi's spatial awareness. And I'm not saying that he a bad player. And I'm not even saying that he don't give 100% energy, because he does. Obi is a ball of energy. We all know that, right? But don't tell me Obi spatially he get lost, and then the shot go up and he sprint down the other way and he get a dunk once a game. Like, oh, we need that energy. We need them dunks. No, because every one time he do that, it's 8 or 9 times where he done lost his man on defense.
Right.
You know
in
what I'm saying?
Fairness, though,
and y'all killed him.
He's been doing less leaking out and more staying in for the rebound. That says nothing about his defense, but in terms of the leaking out, he's been doing that less.
But that's Grimes, though. Oh, because schematically, Obi's not going up top. Since Grimes is in, Tibbs is like when that guy rubs across the lane, Obi, you stay back here. It's a lot of it's a lot of man. Look if you don't believe what I'm saying, right? Don't look at the Chicago game. Go back and watch the Atlanta Hawks game. Go back and watch the Atlanta Hawks game and watch how the 3 guards of Quickly, McBride, and Grimes cover up for Obi and Randle's mistakes on defense.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Now, in this case, Obi was hurt, so it's just Randle in this case. But look how, with them 3 on the floor, they simplify the defense for Randle, where Randle has maybe 1 or 2 reads per possession. So you see more effort out of him because it doesn't take a lot of focus and concentration, right? See the ball go to it. That's what Randle's doing right now. That's why Randle looks better. But when you try to play Obi and Randle together, what? Are you kidding me? I don't ever want to see I will take my eyeballs out and rinse them off if I ever see that. I don't ever want to see that again, y'all. I don't ever want to see that. right? Because
it
one
works
dude,
for us a few games though.
one dude's lazy and the other dude don't have awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No. Defensively, no doubt about it. But I wanted to say this to Ally Wise in terms of the core, the young core. He said we did and are currently moving off our vets minus Fournier and Rose. We have a very young core. Look at the minutes. When you want to find out who your core is, look at the box score every game and look at who's getting the minutes. Because you can't say that we have a young core when Obi is averaging 17 minutes a game.
Right. When
Sims is averaging less than 10 minutes a game. When McBride is averaging 14 minutes in an overtime game.
Yep.
McBride played 14 minutes. Sims played less than we already got a 9-man rotation. That's basically it's down to 7.
Sims played the entire starting lineup, I think.
So when you say, "Oh, we have a young core," everybody's getting excited. What's their role on the team? How many minutes they're getting? That lets you know who the core is. And right now, the players who are getting the most minutes are RJ, Randle, Mitch, Brunson.
Right.
And now Grimes.
Right.
Grimes then just came in and moved right into the core.
Yes, he did.
Yep. And now Cam is expendable.
Yep.
And so Queen B, just real quick before I get out of here, I appreciate the way that you stated this thing about core, because our fan base gets the future and the present confused, right? See, because core means at the moment, like this is what we going with right now. This is what's keeping us stable. Now, if you're talking about who are future pieces, then I can have that conversation. But if you're talking about core, I'm thinking most important. You know what I'm saying? Who are the most important players? And the most important players are going to get the most minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, but I got to get out of here, y'all. Just wanted to say this. Just wanted to say this real quick, man. The Giants suck. I holler at y'all.
Along with Chicago.
Salute to the Bears, man.
Yeah, so
what place are y'all in the division?
We
last.
are,
I'm sure. I only got to look at the standings. They ain't last.
We are terrible right now. But you know what? We are going to take this number 1 overall pick and probably trade back with the Jets so the Jets can go draft a quarterback.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Let me.
Stop.
Mike White is the future, right? That's what the fans.
Mike White is 37.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's 27.
He ain't.
Mike White is oldest. Mike White's the oldest rookie. Mike White is older than Obi.
That's funny. I will give you that. It don't matter. Quarterbacks last for a lot longer than they used to, right?
Yeah, especially Jets quarterbacks.
Ha. Still better than you. Go ahead. Have a good night. Have a good night.
All right, hey Queen B, we definitely got to get back together. But look, if no lie,
they play on Fridays. That's the issue. The Knicks play a lot of games on Fridays.
That's the issue. That's the issue. Yeah, that's definitely the issue. But I think the fan base needs a point guard like yourself with these hard questions, and somebody like myself that's gonna overthink everything that you throw out. You know what I'm saying?
Why that sound like another Jalen Brunson?
Pick and roll. I like that. The pick and roll.
That's why you need
I have to do something on that.
Pick and roll with Queen and Freezy, something like that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I got to get over here to Knicks after party. It was a pleasure as usual.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Salute y'all.
Yes, Ally Wise, we do have a young core, and that's what I like. That's one thing I will say about, if that is our core, at least they're young. 20, what, Randall's 27 or 28 now?
Something like that.
The Nick and roll. You know what, Trav? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The Nick and roll, right. Instead of pick and roll, the Nick and roll. With that. But I agree with you, Ally Wise, that if that is our core, they're young. I thought you meant that the younger players on the team. right. Anything I didn't ask tonight that you guys want to talk about, or anything we did talk about that you feel like you want to add to before we kind of wrap it up?
All
I
I'll
don't
just
know.
say is I was really impressed by the way the Knicks played last night. And I was very excited to see us battle with the Bulls. I know the Bulls have had a down year, but
Right.
when they made their comeback in the fourth quarter, I'm glad that we were able to rally. And then, of course, the way Brunson played, I think we need to give him a little bit more credit just for how he played last night, considering he was playing on a bum
Absolutely.
ankle
Right.
that the cat was wearing a walking boot, and he said, "Nah, I'm gonna play." And he didn't say, I'm gonna play. He said, I'm gonna win this game for the team. So,
It's my point
you
guard.
know, yeah. So,
And I'm gonna
major
drop
kudos.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
another thing I liked about him is, Randle played very well through 3 quarters, and got us into position.
Yeah.
In that fourth quarter, he was 1 for 6.
Yeah.
Just wasn't playing well. I don't know if it was fatigue. He played like 40,
might be
41, 42 minutes
Right.
last night. When we got into overtime, Brunson was like, all right, big fella, I don't know if you're tired.
We good now.
I don't know if I don't know what it is, but I got it. And as I was talking about it on the morning recap show, we haven't had that.
No.
It was either Randle or bust. If he wasn't playing well, that's it. We just had to ride him, and there wasn't much that we can do. Nikki B from Harlem said he played 46 minutes.
Right.
My goodness, I'm surprised he was able to walk.
Right. So when he put
my guy slept a lot today.
Wow.
Because he
when
said
you think
that
of that,
he's been sleeping more and getting more naps.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Wow.
No,
I
was
was
gonna
just
say, you think
saying
of that.
to have somebody that feels comfortable enough because he's garnered the respect of Randle or whatever it is, to be able to say, I got it. And for Randle to just let him rock. Instead of running to him clapping for the boy, he just let him rock. So that was good to see.
I think that was good. And I think I also want to say RJ played really well offensively. Like I said, we saw good defense in spurts from him yesterday. God forbid the cat was able to close. We might have been able, not necessarily close the game out for Brunson and or Randle, but if he would have been able to finish out the fourth quarter, I don't think that game goes to overtime. He was actually playing very well, and he was hitting his shots. Jerrell, he was hitting his shots. I think it limited us also in our last possession because we didn't have him out there as an additional,
I think that last possession, Julius Randle wasn't going to pass the ball regardless.
But he should have shot it earlier in the shot clock to give Mitch an opportunity to get a offensive rebound.
Yeah, I don't think it wouldn't have mattered who was on that court if RJ was playing or not. Jules was going to take that shot.
Right. But that was the play, though. That was the play to isolate and hold. I just thought he held it too long, and I would have liked him to go to the basket, get a foul.
Ooh. And he was drawn. That's one thing he was doing.
He was tired. When you tired, that's what you do. You bail out and you take
that's a good point.
Turnaround jumpers.
He had the legs.
Yeah.
Y'all let Freezy talk about Jalen Brunson like that. I'm mad, yo.
But you see, I cleaned it up though after.
No, I said that I think he should be a guard on a championship team.
Right, he is.
Be a point guard on a championship.
Had a walking boot on, and then had Alex Caruso doing the electric boogaloo on the baseline.
That's true.
That was shades of Allen Iverson right there.
If he would have walked over him, I would have fell out. That would have been.
I'd have walked over to him. He should have walked over to him. He wasn't even near him because he shook him so bad. He should have went back to him after he hit the shot.
Outline.
Yeah, no doubt. Baysider.
You ain't say that though. That was your boy. You ain't defend him.
I was gonna argue too much.
RJ more than you do.
I was gonna argue too much. I was like, we ain't gonna never get off here. Nah, Freezy good. That's my guy though.
Yeah, Bayside Jr., I agree. If we smoke the Bulls next game, that will tell me a lot. It's hard to beat a team back to back. That's what I'm looking out for. If the Knicks,
that's true.
If the Knicks beat Chicago 2 times in a row in Chicago, not even a home and away, a home and home,
and like a good win,
yeah,
like we win by like 8. Yeah, that's a good win. Like we turn a corner then.
We play the Bulls close all
That's
the
a
time.
very
I think
good
it's gonna
point
be
as
another
well,
close game. And go ahead.
David.
Go
If
ahead. I'm
he
sorry.
shoots sooner, Chai would have had time to
That is true.
score. They barely missed the alley-oop. That's a very good point as well.
That's true.
Very
But
good
see,
point as well.
Mitch is the best offensive rebounder on earth, so you should have
Yeah,
shot it
I would
earlier.
have took my chances with Mitch. Um,
Like everybody said, that's what Mitch is. So yeah, I'd have shot it.
right. And kudos to Randle on that last play. He actually tracked the ball all the way to the rim and hit it out. It wasn't like he was just standing right underneath the rim.
Right.
So
He did a
yeah.
good job there. I was worried he got hurt. That might have also been another reason why they took a little bit of a backseat in the overtime and not tried to run the offense through him. Besides the fact we wanted Brunson to run it, but that might have been something else that we
The
didn't
fatigue.
take into
the
consideration.
factor.
Exactly.
Yeah, and to Stafford's point, you know, the 9-man rotation or 7-man, 8-man rotation is working right now. But at some point, I think we're gonna have to extend the rotation a little bit. I don't know if these
Well,
guys can play all of these minutes
something's
and
going to have
still
to
be
happen.
effective.
Something's going to have to happen because Obi's going to be back, but at least like first week of January. So we're going to find out quick what he's going to do with that 9-man
Hopefully.
rotation. It's going to have to turn to 10, right?
I would hope so, but Freezy
Tibbs is
DM'd me and said if the 9-man if the 9-man rotation is rocking, with Tibbs make Obi situational.
Yes.
No, I don't see that. Unless they was going to trade him. I don't see the front office allowing that.
Ooh. Well, we'll see who's in charge.
Front
I
office.
mean, if we focusing on defense, I mean,
I don't know.
we've made some tough
We winning now.
choices in terms of cutting people out. And you know what? Some of it wasn't even that it was the player's fault that has been cut out of the rotation. It's just that we were
Right.
so bad.
Right.
We just had to we had to keep searching and making the changes. And some of the people that's out of the rotation are good players that can help us. But because we were so bad, they've become casualties, basically.
Yeah.
They
Cam
become
don't deserve to be
casualties.
keep getting DMPs like this. He needs to play, but I understand we're doing
Who?
what Tibbs think. Cam.
He's not playing no more. He's done.
Well, he
That
needs to
mu-
be traded sooner
Well,
rather than later.
I actually think that's I don't even think that's a Tibbs thing. I think that's a front office thing too.
Well, maybe, you know, because Cam does have a predisposition to
Right.
getting injured.
Right. So I
with
wouldn't
that,
play
I
him
can
either
see
if I
it.
was trying to shop him. No way. I would play Cam right now. If I was trying to trade him.
Faster.
He might get hurt walking down the tunnel. You crazy. No. No way. I wouldn't risk it. Not if I really want to trade him or I have something, you know, on the table and was waiting for the 15th to happen, even though that was today. No, I would not play Cam. And I like Cam personally, but
Oh,
I
I know
would
you
not
do.
play him if I wanted to trade him. I think that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Evan Fournier too. Like they
Well,
should not be playing.
I ain't worried about
If
him.
I wanted to
Fournier
trade him.
doesn't get hurt though.
He
But you don't
doesn't.
even want to take the,
I don't even want to take that risk because he make too much money for me to lose that bet
That's true.
and can't trade
There
him.
is
And he just
ACL or
be on
something. It'd be awful.
right, be on the bench for no reason. Like, can you
I shouldn't
imagine
even
that?
said it. I'm
And
sorry.
he got 2 years left. He's not even
Exactly.
expiring.
Exactly. So I wouldn't play him either. No, not if I'm going to trade him. They wouldn't touch the floor at all.
I don't think they make that trade almighty finesse. Why would they do that? Didn't they just draft him this year? That's a real quick turnaround.
It's
Like,
too late for
okay.
that. It's too late for that. If I know it's after 11, we be talking about what happened after 11. They just drafted that boy the number 2 pick overall. Well, no. Wasn't he number 2?
3.
Did he slide to 3?
3. Yeah, Chet was number 2. 3.
Chet
But
was
yeah, they're not
What
getting
the-
rid of Jabari Smith, even though he is struggling a little bit. But
He is.
He struggled
I'm
in the
not
summer
giving
league
up.
too.
And I
Jabari
went
Smith.
against my rule of not drafting rookies in fantasy. Yes, because of the
Are you
field goal
struggling?
percentage.
Are you
He's
struggling
struggling.
with fantasy right now? No, I mean
No,
you,
I'm doing.
since you got a
I'm
couple.
like middle of the. I'm middle of the pack.
All my dudes keep getting hurt, yo.
Yeah, same. Shout out to Nigel. What's good, y'all? Just subscribed yesterday from your NBK
Nice.
page.
Nice.
Welcome.
Loving
Welcome
this.
to the
Happy to
family.
join your fam here,
Word.
Queen. Appreciate you.
Word.
And anybody else here who hasn't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the notification button so you'll be notified anytime I go live. We went twice this week because I was away for 2 weeks. We'll go back to just once a week next week. And Thursdays. Yes, Thursdays. This Saturday morning, if I'm not on the road, I'll do the morning recap.
She's serious about leaving.
If I look like I'm gonna be on the road, I'll just drop a video. I'll just drop a
She's
video.
dead serious. Like, I'm gone this weekend. Like,
Yeah, this is like if you know anything about me, I like efficiency. If you got to do something over and over and over, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Anyway, any last words before we get out of here, Stafford?
Shout out to the panel. Queen is always a pleasure. Shout out to Jerrell, Tsunami. Shout out to the haters. You know, y'all always keep me going. The Craigs, the Almighty Finesse. All y'all keep me motivated. So keep on hating. But I'm looking for a good win tomorrow. And I think we're going to take this win convincingly. And let's go Knicks. Let's go. Let's get to 16-13.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
I was about to say that is something we could have talked about, but I guess over a little bit. We didn't talk about like the game tomorrow or what we think the Knicks will be like the next show by the time we have our next show next week. Like, I don't know what the schedule is. I know
play
we play Chicago
Friday
but
and
after that-
Sunday. We play Indiana Sunday.
Okay.
I think the Knicks can get both of them.
Yes.
I think the Knicks can get both of them. And then we play Golden State Tuesday. That's going to be a tough game. Curry is out. He's going to be out for a few weeks. I still think it's going to be a tough game for the Knicks. But Ashley Inc. is asking for our predictions.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one. It's tough to beat teams back to back.
Yes.
So I forgot someone who was LIY said that this year teams who win the first game have been winning the second game.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going with LIYs. The Knicks will win tomorrow.
I'm going with a win too, to be honest. Because they came back in the fourth quarter of the last game. I think we should have won. We shouldn't have went to overtime. We should have won flat out. So I don't think we break down like that again.
They
At
went
least
away from. Sorry, I keep cutting everybody off.
It's
I'm
all
rusty, y'all. I'm rusty.
That's all I really had anyway. It's just a win. It's good.
Levine started getting hot between the third and early fourth. And then when he came back in the game, they completely went away from him and just went DeRozan. I think that was a mistake on their end because that was a matchup that was performing pretty well for them. I think the game is still going to be close. And it's at our home.
No.
So that's
No.
right. Isn't that MSG?
No.
Both
They never
games
left Chicago.
Both games is at Chicago. I
They
know.
chilling.
Is this one on ESPN too?
Probably
not.
No,
You think
probably
both
not.
of them? You think they would do both of them back to back?
These 3 games here, Tsunami, are on the road. The next game we play at home, I think it's Golden State. So after we play Chicago, we head to Indiana. And then I think we come home to Golden State Warriors.
Right.
Don't quote me, but I believe so.
No, you're right. I have the schedule pulled up. I just should have looked at it before I opened my damn mouth. If this game is on national TV, I'm gonna say it's a loss. If it is not on national TV, then I say the Knicks win by 6.
What that got to do with if we win or lose?
Refs are a big deal. I know people are dismissing it, but
Jerrell,
I don't.
that's what
And we're playing.
Freezy told me. That's her opinion.
Yeah. My bad. You're absolutely right.
That's her opinion.
So bad,
Right.
y'all.
Right.
Y'all have been watching these games. Refs have been putrid the last few games. Putrid, awful, terrible.
Yeah, you know we play the Bulls next Friday too.
Oh my goodness.
We play
The
them on
23rd.
Play that one at
The
home, then.
23rd.
But yeah, I think
Okay.
I think the Knicks will probably win since we're not going to be on national TV. and we won't get as crazy calls. But I do want to take into consideration, though, we shot the ball really well from three. Do
We
you think
did.
we shoot the ball really well from 3 2 games in a row?
No.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
So
can
I
we
think
just
the
be
game is
decent
close.
at the 3-point line for the rest of the season?
I would like that.
Yeah, I just want to be average. I just want to be. There's nothing wrong with being average at some stuff.
I mean, I remember when I was somebody tweeted something when I was away, and I remember and I think I answered the tweet. I was like, we don't hit the three well, we don't play good defense. If
Right.
we get down, how are we ever gonna get back into a game?
We was looking bad, yo.
You know, but the
Very
defense is picked up. If our 3-point shooting picks up, I'll feel much more comfortable that even if we do get down, we'll be able to get back into a game.
And I heard, I think it was a stat where it said, New York scored the most 3-point field goals in Chicago ever, and that was 18.
Oh,
So,
okay. Nice.
yeah, I was listening to NBC Chicago. Yeah, I remember Kendall Gibb.
Yes.
He's the broadcaster for the after. He was really salty. Yeah. You know what he said? He was like, this is a team on paper that the Chicago Bulls should have won. I said, oh, really? I said, that's why Jalen Brunson took Caruso's soul. So, you know.
So is he going to play tomorrow?
You know, exactly.
Oh,
We're going to snatch your soul again. And you're going to be talking that same trash again.
Right.
So let's
Shout out
go
to
next.
Sean Bird, who says, sitting here at work listening to the panel. Let's go, New York. I appreciate you listening to us at work. Salute to Chris. Haven't seen you and heard from you in a while.
Yeah, salute, Chris.
Peace. Yeah, been a long time. I was gonna bust into the little rhyme, but I'm gonna let that.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
I'll wait.
I'm about to say, I heard bars from Papa Left today. You can get on the track too,
Right?
Steph.
I can't. It was good.
You know, it's after 12 now. Everything get crazy.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
get
let me
crazy
read
around
this
12.
last one before we get out of here. Ashley Inc. 1. If Tibbs plays Deuce more than 20 minutes and Sims up to 15 minutes instead of iHeart, then we can definitely win tomorrow, even without Tsunami's hubby Cam.
Shots fired.
Read
That's
the
funny.
comment underneath that one.
Oh, she right though. But that,
Tsunami is right that national TV unfortunately influences the rap. Really?
It does.
Y'all think that for real?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay.
You telling
Just
me,
seen-
man, when you are calling these fouls like a whole 2 seconds after blowing the whistle after that.
Yeah, they were late. There was some late calls.
They was
Oh,
like, I guess my only argument
It was
was it's
egregious.
not that I think the refs are good. I just think they suck whether we're on national TV
Right,
or
that's
not.
what I was saying.
Like it doesn't matter if we're on national TV. I don't think we get calls regardless.
It's worse when we on TV. Only when we're winning.
Only when we're winning.
Yeah.
You're not saying that's why we blew the fourth quarter lead though, right?
No, because Levine got hot.
Okay.
We let him
And
get
he was
open. And
inefficient
he's a great
on the
3-point
season,
shooter.
but he was efficient last night.
He has these games where he just goes off, and that was one of his nuclear games.
Yeah, at first I thought he was pretty much taking the game off. Like it was a slow start. He wasn't doing that much like in the first quarter. He wasn't doing anything at all. He had like 3 points. I was like, oh, we got this game. But he woke up a little bit. He woke up a little bit and showed us why Zach Levine is Zach Levine.
Real quick. Almighty Finesse said the refs just want attention. Y'all saw the clip because I took a picture of it on my Twitter when the ref made that BS call and Randle and Tibbs were both in the same shot yelling at the ref. Y'all peeped that last night.
Yes. I did peep that. Did peep that.
That's when you know you messed up. They
Right.
both yelled at you. Go ahead.
Right.
I am
But
done.
Tibbs is always yelling.
But not calling challenges.
Right. And calling challenges. Listen, he hit him on the arm. Just say that timeout.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys.
Gucci Man. Like he said, he did look like Gucci Man too. The ref last night.
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah.
Look like Gucci.
I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me with the technical difficulties. I think we was like maybe 20, 30 minutes late. And when I got on, there was still people in the chat. I wasn't sure. So I appreciate you guys. And listen, there's no us without you. If there's no chat, who are we talking to?
Facts.
Who are we talking to?
I ain't trying to talk the staff up for like 2 hours. Yo, I need some type of interference.
Interference.
Yeah.
Right. You guys are an integral part of the show. This is why I like to highlight the comments, because I do read them. And it gives me and I get to think about it. I've changed my view on things, just from reading what people are saying in the chat. It gives me something to think about. We're all fans, and even though we're up here on the panel, there's nothing magical about us. This is just our opinion, and your opinion is important as well. So I appreciate you guys. We out of here.
Peace and love.
You one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
What?
Don't stop.
What?